The following podcast may be explicit. One Joe Young presents Adventures from the Shed, a tabletop RPG podcast. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com. Sit down with us in the shed as we recap our Alamand campaign and switch our system from D&D to Dungeon World. Listen in as we talk about how the characters were adapted from one system to the other. Enjoy the podcast. Hi, and welcome to the Shed for Adventures from the Shed. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com, Facebook, Twitter, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google+. Did I miss something, Mickie? Bing, Google, all over the place. We are everywhere you want to be.
Some places you don't want us to be.
We're going to go around the table and say hi and start with somebody who's someplace she doesn't want to be.
Hi, everyone. I totally want to be here. Great. I love it playing with you guys. This is Mickie.
Oh, baby.
I like playing with all you guys. This is Nessalus. No, this is Mickie. I play Nessalus.
You got it.
Wow. Most of the time. And next.
JJ playing Calamity, and I'm excited to try this Dungeon World.
Spoiler alert.
Hey everyone, it's Kurt. I am playing Truk, the human monk martial art master, and super psyched to be here today.
Nice.
Hi everyone, this is Brittany. I'm playing Elena. That's it. Yay.
Elena, that's it. This is Joe. I am the game master as we continue our role-playing game in the world of Alamand. We are going to be switching to Dungeon World today, and part of what we're going to talk about for a few minutes, to begin with, by behest of Kurt, we are going to start with a quick review of our campaign so far. In the beginning, and it is Sunday morning, in the beginning, there was darkness, and then there was havoc. Kevin, a special red shirt guest, played a flamboyant bard as we began our adventure in the little town of Louville, I think it was. Something close to that, at least. Voulil, that's the one. I only make them up. I don't remember them. And in that town, the group got together to save the baker's son, and the baker's business from something in the basement. Who remembers what was in the basement?
Spiders.
Nasty
Spiders.
Arachnids.
Giant spiders.
And those. They were both together.
And we were little and squishy.
Yes, we were.
That's
giant
level
spiders
1
and little
Dungeons and
bitches.
Dragons. Kurt, lift your mic up, please. There we go. And after that, who remembers where you went next? After defeating the spiders, you followed a trail
We tracked
To
down
see
a
the
wraith.
Wicket.
The Wicket, the Wraith, the White, the Thing.
Was it a wraith?
The
I
wraith,
don't
the white.
remember.
No, it was a wraith.
It was a wraith.
It was something.
It was a wraith and a black cowl.
Yes, it was a dark-hooded stranger.
I remember a circus tent.
And a circus tent. I think it was like a little
Who
hovel.
spoke in a nondescript voice.
Great, let's roll initiative.
And he was stealing children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
it?
What? Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's what we learned
We thought.
afterwards.
Yeah.
Shortly after that, we followed the leads there into Truk's adventure, where Kurt didn't show up for a play session after he turned into a rock. What happened at Kurt's hometown? Truk's hometown. You remember what happened there?
Yeah, and we ran into Medusa. Kicked her
1.0.
ass.
Alert, Medusa 1.0.
Yeah.
We saved some of the kids. Some of the kids became...
We saved all of them.
No, a
Eventually,
few of them
they were all saved.
were
Some of them were petrified,
Petrified.
and some of them were just terrified.
terrified.
At first, they were afraid.
And then they were
Yes.
petrified.
And then they were petrified.
They were just thinking,
Then we
I
took them to
was
the
a
And
monastery.
so then
Yeah, I could
we...
without you by my side. Go ahead.
Yeah. So then we... What was that thing called with the... With Travoy?
Travoy.
A Travoy.
We made a
We
Travoy.
made a Travoy.
We played Tetris with the rock people.
Totally
Yes.
did.
Yeah.
And then...
We had an overnight session.
Yeah.
And
We were attacked by
we were attacked by
Bone
another
Naga.
Bone Naga.
Bone
This
Naga, yeah.
loser.
In the next
Calamity.
battle with Medusa 2.0,
Yeah.
Calamity was petrified.
And then it was just the girls.
just the ladies.
just a lady.
Yeah.
Just the ladies. And we got everyone back to the
Monastery.
Didn't you guys position Truk and I in an awkward, compromising position?
You
as
totally
well?
loved it. Though.
You don't know. You were a rock.
So you put the rocks together and then rolled onto the monastery. At the monastery, we did a little montage of a several-month battle. Who remembers what their characters did then?
Truk was awesome.
Truk was awesome.
Truk tried to steal from his sensei. That's
Didn't
not
try
very
to
awesome.
steal.
He did
He
steal.
grabbed something in defense.
Of Michaela, the whore.
Ooh, Michaela.
Oh my god.
Truk was awesome. Truk led the defense. Included, among other things, his fantastic jumping off the cliff with basically alchemist fire and torch bombing all of the bad dudes.
Nice.
And yes, he might possibly, in defense of the monastery, have taken
It was defense of Michaela.
his sensei's sword that he was not allowed to touch. But because of that, he wreaked some havoc, saved the monastery, but had to leave afterwards to go atone,
To go do
think,
something.
do penance, and find himself.
Yeah.
And it was, I think, towards the end of the battle at the monastery that Nessalus learned stuff from her diary. Do you
that she was a
remember that?
tiefling.
Well,
No, that was
No,
after the
that
battle.
was after
There
the
was
battle.
more.
That was when we went to the city.
And you didn't learn that from the diary. You learned that because Elena's a bitch. Sorry.
so there was the whole deal about the demons coming for you.
The demons were coming,
Yeah.
which required us to go across the river and through the woods.
to grandmother's
grandma's
stronghold,
house.
Yeah.
To the Arcus Arcanum.
Yeah, so you guys traveled across the ocean, and along the voyage on the ocean, though, what happened?
Oh.
Truk can
Pirates.
fly.
You can fly.
We met
We had
some
an
pirates.
epic pirate battle.
Pirates. Oh.
It was more epic for you. You flew,
Well, yeah.
became invisible, and dropped down into their ship.
That's true. It was one of my better gaming moments.
It was.
He turned into a B-52.
Yeah. I kind of envisioned myself like, who's the
Love
dude
Shack.
in Marvel?
Love Shack.
Falcon?
Okay.
Kind of like Falcon.
That's where you went. He's a monk.
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was we had an awesome sea battle, and then we
Yeah.
ended up in a small port town at an inn where there were
Wint.
lots of strange folks, including a mumbling, maybe crazy druid with a plant.
Oh yeah, that thing.
We got like a black card from the pirates.
Yeah.
And we went
Yeah,
on a
it's the
shopping
credit
spree.
coin.
The credit coin.
Yeah.
And because of the way Truk rolls, he decided he would go try to kind of casually hang out with the druid.
Specifically talking with the plant.
Yeah, it didn't get very far, but the next morning, he had this cute little potted plant outside of his door.
Always wanting to go north.
Frederica became his buddy and kind of guided them on the next phase of their adventure.
And then we went and visited the Wizard's Tower.
Totally did.
Arcus Arcane. I actually think
First we went to the
originally you
library.
said Arcus Arcanery, and then I said Arcus Arcanum the rest of the time. So it got two names, but it was the Wizard Tower.
But we went to the library as well, correct?
Went
Yeah,
to the
yeah, that was
library.
actually before going there. Yeah, because at the library it was Dewey the dwarf that referred you to the Wizard's Tower.
Yeah.
Dewey D. Simmel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
that guy.
So
I
bad.
remember. And that's also where you learned some about the Fae, I think, from the big book.
Yeah.
Headed to the Wizard's Tower, and he talked
a
to
snob.
He was a
Calamity.
total
He
snob.
talked to me.
He was very fine talking to the Paladin, but didn't necessarily care for that
Anyone
tiefling.
else?
That jerk.
But he led us to the last remaining member of the Crimson Order.
Yes.
Nico sang.
Nico Saint.
He was kind of
Nico
a little
Sante.
crazy.
And he did warn us. I mean,
He did.
In the Wizard's defense, he did warn us.
So the insane wizard was, I don't know, kind of a winter wizard, maybe?
You
right?
could call him that.
One of
We
the
had-
white-
Was that because he's sitting outside of winter?
We
or
had-
Wint?
We had our holiday episode there, in which Rudolph was mercilessly slaughtered.
Poor Rudolph.
True.
His rosacea.
His
Couldn't stand
rosacea.
Just can't hack it. Well, you did hack it.
We did hack
actually.
it.
Yeah,
That
we did.
was a poor example. And at the end of that, Nessalus was able to grab a book, or receive a book from Nico.
Totally mind
Totally.
bended that wizard.
And that led the party towards the ancient grove. Actually, that in combination with Frederica got the party headed towards the ancient grove.
There was
a-
also their pet shadow demon.
Yeah, there was that first night, or one night, where the shadow demons attacked. And they kind of
Protracted
messed
battle.
with you guys. That was the Wobbly Bits episode.
That was the Wobbly Bits episode. Calamte and his Wobbly Bits.
He was all doffed.
He did doffed his armor.
And from there, putting a demon on a leash, moved a bit of the way further towards the grove. And for anyone listening to these episodes in sequence, they've just heard the episode where we were in the Grove. Who remembers what happened in the secret Grove?
Demons tried to kidnap me.
Well,
Nessalus.
Those
they tried
damn
to
dirty
kill
demons.
They tried to kill
Uh-huh.
Nessalus. It was
And-
touch and go there for a while.
It was. It was the kind of thing that, as I remember it,
While?
pretty much every
It's for a
round
while.
there was a chance of Nessalus going away.
Yeah.
It was a
And
fun battle
somebody-
because they were all just focused on her,
Yeah.
and we were basically attacking, and they were not attacking us. They
Yeah.
were just
attack of
attacking her.
opportunity. Bam.
Yeah.
I was giving her the hands.
You were giving her.
I gave her the hands.
Did you warm him up first?
It just reminded me of the D&D family reunion where you tried to do that voice thing and you did the Southern Belle the whole time.
Yeah.
You just reminded me of that.
That was awesome.
That was hysterical.
And then we defeated them. They got weaker each round.
Yeah.
Although that wasn't immediately obvious to us, but that's what was happening.
Well, all the shadow demons disappeared at once. So.
Poof. Yeah.
And then they
that.
disappeared, but there was an implication that perhaps the head demon is not done with us, correct?
Yeah.
Since he didn't actually show up. Yeah.
Or didn't someone say something?
Dantalion.
Yeah,
he'll
be back
as
wasn't
he
part
was-
of the group.
That's right.
As he was melting. What a world! What a world!
What a world. Yes. And we ended that episode with Drugana, the druid, offering for Truk to hang out for a little while and learn the ways of the land. From there, what we're going to do is take a few minutes
Morning.
and talk about how characters were made in Dungeon World to match the playing of the characters we had in Dungeons and Dragons.
That's right, people. We're switching back.
Yeah, so we're going
Should we
to
talk about why we're doing that briefly?
We're doing it from our perspective, a bit of it, I guess, led by myself. But the idea that for our podcast, I find it to be a little more entertaining to spend less time on rules and more time with us talking, because I think we're more entertaining when we're role playing,
Right, so
talking about our characters and the story rather than the rules.
Right, so just to be clear, I think all of us are having a ton of fun with D&D, and if we were just playing
Yeah.
at home, we very well might keep playing 5th edition.
Yeah.
And
This is for your entertainment.
Well, almost all of us said that, I mean, we love it, it's fun, but when you listen to it, there's a lot of kind of dice rolling, and to some degree figuring out the rules. And we just thought, from a narrative perspective, our Dungeon World episodes have been a little more fun to listen to, and most of us have a lot of fun playing Dungeon World as well, so why not try to switch the campaign back to that and see if it makes for a better podcast?
Thank you, Kurt.
And let
Well
us know
said.
if you agree or disagree.
I don't want any D&D
Yes.
lovers to think
Exactly.
that we're hating on 5th edition,
We're
because I
not.
love it.
No,
We're
I
not
was
hating
mentioning
it.
before we started, I think we've got more Dungeons and Dragons episodes than anything else. So
And-
it should show that we definitely appreciate the system.
Right.
But as the characters get higher and higher in level, it takes more time to figure out what you're doing and how it's being done, compared to, say, the starter set, which I thought was great for a beginner piece, and it was really good for the limited rules, a 34-page rule book, etc.
And there are awesome people out there doing high-level D&D play on the internet if that's what you want to watch. We just can't do it super efficiently and in a really fun manner. So.
Yeah, what Kurt's saying is we're all stupid. Well, almost all.
Almost all.
And,
Speak for yourself.
And, you know, we
think
drink
it
a lot of beer while we play. So.
And there's that. So what I've done, in talking with the group, and what I've done to get us ready for this is I've taken the characters that you have heard play those last 16 or so episodes with that recap that we just did, and I've taken the key elements of how our players have played those characters and translated them into Dungeon World characters. And what I'd like to do is have each person talk a little bit about what character they have in front of them now, and how some of those pieces may match up to see how well we understand what we're talking about. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Oh, he
can
said
go
it. She
first.
raised her
Rock,
hand.
paper, scissors.
Hey, yeah. Do rock, paper,
Ready.
scissors.
Rochambeau.
3, 2, shoot. 1, 2, 3, shoot.
Rochambeau.
Rochambeau?
Yeah.
All right.
Rochambeau.
All right, I got
Oh,
scissors.
She got her paper
Versus
cut.
rock, paper.
Pieces.
All right. So
All right.
Calamte, he's pretty much a direct translation. It works pretty well. So on a Dungeon World sheet, you can assign some stats. And I did pretty much the basic, favoring strength, constitution, and charisma. And then my alignment is good. And then Joe allowed me to change the human starting move from what here is evil to what here is profitable, fitting my character.
Yes. The Vengeance Paladin of Capitalism.
So, and then we're starting at level 4, I believe?
Yeah, just for the sake of matching up how many things I chose with where we sit right now, the characters will be level 4. Dungeon.
So, I picked up Smite, Exterminatus, and Charge. And that definitely matches. I think the only thing I need to pick up next might be Hospitaller.
I was thinking that, but the other thing I decided against it to start because as the bard, Elena actually has some healing now.
Okay, fair
And
enough.
I didn't know how you guys might share that role.
Do you want to tell the folks at home and me, because I'm stupid, what those various powers are?
Okay, so Smite allows me to deal additional D4 damage while on a quest. I'm not entirely
We have to
certain
figure
what
out
that
what
means.
your quest is because of how we're starting this next adventure.
So then, Exterminatus allows me to single out an enemy and deal an additional 2d4, and then -4 to everyone else.
That's super interesting. I love that.
And then Charge allows me to aid my allies when I take the lead in combat.
So if he leads the charge, everyone else gets a bonus
Cool.
to get
You're a
started.
buffer.
A
And
little
now,
a little
Elena,
battle
you may
master
go.
move.
Go ahead, Alyssa. I got to do it at least once.
That's not your job. That's her job. My
Exactly.
job.
That's why I feel like I have to do it.
All right.
Sorry. I didn't mean that in a
Oh,
derogative
God, that's
fashion.
so racist.
He's doing my
It
job.
is.
No. Someone took a job from a... Wait.
Oh, snap.
I'm a female and a minority. Go ahead, sorry.
Shit.
Go ahead.
She's a fee minority.
Oh my god. Why don't I just go now?
I don't know. Come up with something.
So Truk is an interesting conversion.
You just took her
Yeah,
job.
I told him to. It's
Well
okay.
done.
She told me to. Truk is an interesting conversion because he was a 5e monk, and there's not a monk in Dungeon World, at least not in the core.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Kurt. We are using still the core classes.
Right.
None of the expanded, none of the stuff you can find on the internet.
Right,
just
so
the
I'm
core
sure there's a
classes.
monk out there somewhere,
Oh,
but
yeah, I'm sure.
we are using the core classes from the book. So Joe and I made Truk a fighter, but we put his primary stats in dexterity. He's fairly balanced. We took a lot of dex, con, wisdom, and then I upped charisma as well. So I'm going to try to make him fairly balanced, but he's going to be a dexterity-based fighter. With hands, or rather body, as his weapon. So fist is the Dungeon World choice, but we said that it can be fists or feet because he's a martial
Yeah,
artist.
Elbows,
essentially body.
or head.
Any way you want to hit something using
Or knees.
part of your
No,
body.
no,
Elbows.
because his body is his weapon. Does that also mean things that come from his body? So his like parts are lethal.
It could be.
Oh, well, I can assure
I
you
was
that they are.
really, really expecting that to go in a different direction. And
But here's what's interesting about Truk. So, is this a good time for me to talk about what happened after the last
Nope.
episode? No?
Just do the character for now. We'll do the story.
All right, in that case, I can't explain my powers yet.
You can explain all of them. You can
you
explain the
will
other
find
parts.
out later.
I have my fists and body as my signature weapon. And
teabagging
I have
left and right.
Ironhide, which gives me a +1 to armor. And I have nothing else interesting until we talk about the story.
Okay.
So I'll just pass it on.
Let's just say it has to do
Did you-
with
did you
the
wanna go, Nessie?
ancient
Sure, I'll go
druid
next.
Go ahead,
talking
Nessie.
about you hanging out.
All right, so Nessalus, again, there's no tiefling in the core characters for Dungeon World, so the best
Warlock.
translation. Sorry.
Tiefling is your race.
Yeah, but there's no tiefling either.
There's no
Yep.
tiefling either. Stop confusing me. It's hard enough as it is. It wasn't written down. There's the best translation for that was elf, given the whole magic is very natural to the elf race. Alignment is neutral. A couple of cool bonds. Primary was intelligence, given all of the magic that's going to be slung around by her. The starting moves here with prepared spells instead of a spell book. I'll continue to use my diary as I've done before. Some of the advanced moves that made sense were Prodigy. That would allow some spell casting as if they were at a lower level, some Empower Magic. We went with the expanded spell book to allow the cleric. My mic just cut out.
Did it?
Yep.
And there we go. I'm back. Went with the expanded
You went with
spell
the
book.
Hispanic spell book?
The Hispanic
Yes.
spell book. The
Mira, mira,
expanded
que
spell
te
book.
Ay, Dios míos.
Don't distract me, people.
Okay.
I've already had 2 mimosas. All right, so
Have you?
yeah,
What the hell?
I don't mess around. We brought in cleric hold person, which ties with the whole, shadow demon
Hold
on
person,
a leash.
You were very, Nessalus more than once mentioned about thanking her diary about hold person. So
Hold
it was
person.
important that spell be there.
Exactly. So we also went with arcane ward because we had picked up, I had picked up a magic item, dispel. No, it was reduced.
It was a mantle. The mantle. The
spell resistance.
The mantle of spell resistance. So that translation was just arcane ward in order to up the armor class there. Got a couple of cool first level spells. Again, brought some of them up to a cantrip given how much she relied on Eldritch Blast, which was really her go-to power, and telepathy, that mind talking thing that she did a lot. So we brought those up to cantrips and had added a couple of others, mimic, which made sense given the direction that she was taken in Dungeon World. We actually brought in some damage spells this time as well, fireball, to make her a little more, oomphy.
Pew pew.
A little more pew pew rather than just standing back. She's still pretty squishy, as she was in Dungeon World, but I'm kind of curious to see how this plays out given the spells that we've selected in the translation of this
It's actually
character.
kind of interesting that since you put Constitution up a little and you have that armor, as long as you have a spell prepared, you may be less squishy than some others. Interestingly enough, yeah.
Time will tell. And last but not least, the lovely
Alyssa.
She goes last. That way, no one can interrupt her.
All right, James, that's your cue to shut your mouth.
Oh, my bad.
Oops.
Knock, knock. Anyways,
Who's there?
interrupting Orange. Elena, who
Interrupt her
has
own.
previously been a paladin and a fighter, was translated to a bard in Dungeon World because the way that she fights is to allow other people to do
Fight
damage
better.
rather than herself.
Yeah, to help other people be better.
Right.
Yeah.
She's the definition of supporting role.
An ultimate cheerleader.
Yay!
Didn't I play a cheerleader in the last
Yeah.
game?
So you can think of your bardic, the arcane lore, where you use your instrument, which would be your voice, as just giving people pep talks.
Yeah, we can do it.
Exactly.
The advanced moves that are selected on my page are a little help from my friends, which is to successfully aid, or when I successfully aid someone, I take +1 forward as well. I don't.
Essentially what that means, so for example, if we use what's happened previously, where you help somebody else in combat do something, in the game, technically that would be aiding. So let's use the example of Calamity's heading into battle, and you want to help him hit someone better. You could aid his first hack and slash, and we can say that is, you're telling him the right place to hit the guy, maybe shoot him in the knee or something, right? And when you do that, if you roll and help him, so when you've given that help, you get a +1 on your next roll to help him as well.
Okay.
So that means you're better at helping after you've helped
Calamity's going
once.
to need to help since he has a pension of running into battle
Yes.
naked.
Wobbly bitch.
Very Braveheart.
The other things picked off of my sheet are multiclass dabbler and multiclass initiative.
Which
or
are the
initiate,
other two
which
moves.
means that I can pick moves from other classes.
Yeah.
From the paladin, I got set up strike, which is when you hack and slash, choose an ally, and their next attack against your target does +1d4 damage, which sounds awesome. The other one is from the thief. It is called shoot first. It says you're never caught by surprise. Holy shit! How long have I had this? When an enemy would get the drop on you, you get you get to act first instead, which would replace part
Alert.
of the alert feature that I had as a fighter in 5th edition.
And since we actually took advantage of that before we switched, that I thought that was kind of important to have there. Okay. One thing that I do want to mention to everybody, I'm sure JJ has it, and he filled in the armor number for Mickie over here, but make sure you have your armor, your hit points filled in. Your hit points equals your constitution. That's your maximum hit points. That's the same for
So
everybody.
it's going to be
No matter what level you are?
No matter what level you are, your hit points equal your constitution. If you want your hit points to go up, you put your points from leveling in constitution.
Wait.
So your hit points are 13 because your Constitution is 13.
And what is armor?
Mine
Armor
says
is
6
figured
plus
out by your
Constitution.
character.
Is that not?
That
I'm
is-
sorry. Yeah, it's the Constitution number plus whatever that says there. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes. But that it starts as the same for everybody. The Constitution number, and then your class has an addition. It's right next to the little heart
Okay.
on the character sheet.
What is armor?
Armor will be whatever you are wearing for armor. I couldn't remember what Elena wore for armor.
Her armor was the magical armor that we got from the
That was
monastery.
studded leather
It
armor.
was-
Leather in Dungeon World is 1 armor.
Okay.
So you can write 1 armor. Did she use a shield? I don't remember myself.
JJ.
Did Elena use a
What?
shield? Does anyone
Elena?
remember?
Yes,
Did she use it?
She
No.
did
Did
use
she
it.
have
Okay.
it? Yes.
So your
She did
armor
use
would
it
be
whenever she-
1.
well,
Your armor would be
particularly
1 for having the leather armor, and plus 1 when you're using a shield. So your armor is 2 when you're using a shield, 1 when you're not.
So if I'm shooting a bow, it's going to be 1. If
Right.
I'm using a rapier, it's going to be 2.
That sounds right to me.
Okay.
Your bow is going to be based on your dexterity, by the way, and your rapier would be based on strength.
Oh, that changed then.
Yes, because the actually, hold on, rapier.
Rapier was
finesse.
dex. Yeah.
Well,
In-
regardless of what it is, we should go for strength because you have your higher number in strength than dexterity.
But
So
she
we'll
could
use your
change it.
rapier as a strength weapon instead,
So,
or just call it a longsword if you like.
oh, yes, that's what I wanted anyways.
There you go.
And this speaks to the flexibility of this gaming system.
Yeah, dog.
Totally.
Totally.
My God.
As if.
Oh my god, it's totes flexible.
Totes. Adorb. And flex.
So everybody now should have what their armor is, their maximum hit points, and Brit, you should write your modifiers down below your numbers.
Yeah, I'll figure that out.
Well, your 16s are +2s, your 13 is a +1, the 9 and the other one are 0. There you go. Because every time you roll against to add the modifier. We don't care about the first one.
I want to talk about my character.
I
I can't
want
talk
you
about
to.
anything yet.
I really, really want you to. I'm just going to recap by saying that these characters, again, were made based on how we were playing them. If we had played Dungeon World from the start, we would have created Dungeon World characters in total rather than a translation.
So, Joe, can I do 30 seconds on Dungeon World in case we have new listeners?
Go for it.
So, Dungeon World, we played earlier in our podcasting history. It's a totally different game with a totally different rule set. But here's the basics in 20 seconds. You roll 2d6 for everything, and 10, 11, 12 is a success. You do exactly what you want to do. And what you want to do is what is described by you.
Yeah.
On, I think it's 7, 8, 9, you succeed, but there's a complication or a negative consequence. And then on the bottom part of that 2d6 roll, you just fail miserably and the Dungeon Master destroys you. It's narrative-based. You tell what you want to do.
20 seconds.
You say what you want to do, and as long as you can describe it, if you succeed, that's the game.
Now, I will clarify one thing. A 6- does not mean you failed. It means the game master gets to make a move.
Okay.
It's a consequence.
It's a very important thing because you may roll a 6- while you're trying to pick the lock on the door, but I take that as game master. I can take that failure and allow you to pick the lock, but as soon as you open it, there are armed guards on the other side.
Right.
Right. So the 6- is the world gets to go next.
Right. So I think we will see the game moves more quickly because the roles are simplified, and it's very narrative driven because if you can kind of narrate what you want to do, there's a chance that you can do it.
Yes, a very darn good.
Not
chance
that
of it.
can't be done in Dungeons & Dragons. It's just
Right.
that is more constrained by the rules.
Cool. Thank you, Kurt.
Also, I'd like to
I
send
could
a
tell
shout
how
out.
you couldn't wait to talk about your character.
I'd also like to send a shout out to all the people who reached out to me after the Gaming with Your Partner episode.
Yeah.
And I really can't respond to all the emails about why I like playing an elf in schoolgirl fetish wear. But I do appreciate that you took the time to email me. And we'll get into that at a future date.
I can't wait for that episode.
I'm so excited.
Nice. And actually a shout out to a couple of the people who had emailed us. And we did this, I think, at the end of the last episode. We mentioned them. And again, thank you. It was Rebecca and Colin. Both asked about if we would be playing Dungeon World again. And hey,
Guess
here we
what?
are.
Backed by popular demand.
Go ahead, Kurt. Let's listen to a little bit about. Well, let me set it up a little first. So, at the end of that last episode, Truk stayed in the ancient grove, the secret grove of the ancient oracle, Fey oracle thing, and we're going to skip a couple of months or so into the future, and we'll have a little bit of a description of what our characters did during that time, and we're going to start with Truk, and then we'll cover Elena and Nessalus a little, and finish up with Calamity.
Right, so this was a particularly pivotal time for Truk. He is trained for his young adult life as a monk, has honed his skills, his mental focus, his martial arts, and is already a very accomplished and focused martial artist who gains great strength from meditation. But over the last several months, he has remained with Druganah the Great, known to some as the Wild Walker, and has studied very intently with him in and around the sacred grove. And during that time, Truk has really taken his understanding of power to a new level. Because as a monk in the Wado Zeishan Monastery, he was trained to channel his ki, or chi, which is your life force, the idea that there is a power and a life force that runs through all living things that can be channeled and turned into martial or force prowess. But what Druganah wanted to teach him and has spent months teaching him is that power not only flows through humans and not only can be channeled inside of himself, which to date is what Truk has done. He's learned how to channel his ki into power, and now he's learned how much of that power is within the earth itself and the grass and the plants and the trees and the beavers.
Between you and me, the tree, the rock,
Right.
And the beavers.
and the beaver.
That's right. It exists in all living things. And Truk,
I was channeling Yoda for a moment.
yes.
Throw that out.
But he has now taken his understanding to a new level. So where he already understood ki, he is now able to, or he's working on and learning, and now has a fledgling understanding of how he can draw that power from the earth itself. And so
Cool.
his sort of wisdom level in this regard, he's not been training in terms of moves or dexterity or kicks. He's been training really what I would consider wisdom. And he's not mastered this, but he is now what effectively would be considered kind of a first or second level druid. So he's still a monk, he's still a martial artist, but he has this expanded understanding of life force where he has an enhanced understanding for nature and for the earth. And he always had that to some degree because of where he grew up. He always loved being near the mountain streams and in the hills around the monastery, but now he's kind of taken that to a new level. So as a result of that, in the Dungeon World universe, what we've done is we've allowed him to take multi-class Dabbler where he can get moves from another class, and we've used the druid background and given him essentially two powers from that. One is that so long as he wields his staff, he gets a +1 to armor. And the thing there that's happened is that y'all may recall he had this small plotted plant, Frederica, who was guiding them for where they needed to go. And during the months that he was with Druganah the Wild Walker, Druganah planted Frederica in the Sacred Grove where there's this vastly accelerated growth. And Frederica spawned into a tree, or not spawned, that's not the right word.
What kind of tree? What kind of tree was Frederica?
An oak.
An oak, okay.
Very solid, dense oak.
Okay.
So basically it was an oak that grew at a really accelerated rate from a sapling to a tree to a fairly large tree. And Druganah at one point, I don't want to say he took, because Frederica actually offered to Druganah, and Druganah received her first solid branch. And Frederica offered that branch to Druganah, who then took that and gave it to Truk to be used as his new bow staff.
Cool.
And part of what Truk has spent the last few months doing is carving by hand, and not so much with aggressive knife cutting, but with really almost sanding, like hand carving in a very deliberate manner.
He has calloused palms.
He has calloused palms, but he has worked this staff, which really is from Frederica, into a new powerful bow staff that will be one of his preferred monk weapons moving forward. So as long as he's wielding that staff, he gets a +1 to armor, which along with his other, he also has Ironhide, makes his armor class reasonable, potentially a +2 in Dungeon World. And then the other druid spell druid power that we've taken is called Communion of Whispers. when Truk spends time in a place, making note of its resident spirits and calling on the spirits of the land, he can basically do a wisdom roll and will be granted a vision of significance to him, his allies, or the spirits around. And then, depending on the roll, that vision can be helpful, it can be unclear with a murky meaning, or it could be upsetting, frightening, or traumatizing. And the GM basically describes that, and then in exchange for that vision, I take a -1 forward, which in Dungeon Roll means my next roll will be slightly less stellar than it would have otherwise been.
Slightly less stellar.
So this gets me where I wanted to be, and I've discussed with Joe, which is that I envision Truk being this very kind of rooted, wise martial art monk, but with a very strong affection for the land. And at this point, that's something that is becoming more pronounced.
Earthy, crunchy Bruce Lee.
Exactly.
Earthy, crunchy Bruce Lee.
Granola Bruce Lee.
With,
Bruce
with a
Lee.
really attractive female monk back pining away for him at the monastery.
Yeah.
Oh, Michaela.
And he doesn't have any idea. No, he's kind of, I don't know. He probably didn't learn anything about sex with the druid either.
No, Druganah is very old.
Yeah.
Very wise.
Does he smell like patchouli? I think he would.
You think?
I think so.
And then we figure over the last few months, perhaps Elena and Nessilis went back to the Wint Stronghold, the city there at the ocean, and we're most likely looking up things about maybe who Nessilis might be, what the demon might be, what the heck's going on. What do you guys think of what happened over the last couple months?
Definitely. I don't know. We think we'd be back in the main city, kind of researching. The more she finds out, like the more angry she gets at how much has been kept from her entire life.
Yeah.
So she would have probably gone through a rebellious phase, gone full goth, the whole nine.
She has like raccoon eyeshadow going on. Yeah.
Just angry
What does
at the
goth
world.
look like in Alamand?
Goth and
Raccoon
Alamand.
eyeshadow.
I don't know. I imagine just like dark robes. She would have like worn like just regular like common people's clothing, but like ripped it up and just been angry at everything.
Did she dye her horns black?
Well, she can still kind of. Well, I don't know. Does she
Manipulate her.
still have her manipulation of her?
We're
We're going to say
yes.
yes.
So she
It
would
just
have.
makes it
She continually
I'm not
manipulates.
the
them
DM,
and
but I'm going to
hides-
speak
and-
for him.
There you go.
And hides. If she'd have grown her hair out long so she could cover it, would have kept her tail hidden. Yeah,
I'm still not letting her have her own room.
No?
but she wants her own boyfriend.
I don't give a fuck. Get your
Are
own
you
boyfriend.
sharing
I'll kill him
boyfriends?
later.
She wants a boyfriend.
There you go.
Don't ask questions. You weren't there. We might have been sharing a boyfriend.
You don't know.
Or a girlfriend.
You don't know.
We could have both married the road.
Don't place your moral judgments on this relationship.
Speaking of moral judgments, what has Calamity been up to?
Calamity has been establishing trade routes because this is a section of the continent that Azkaron doesn't have any kind of
Okay.
influence, presence. So he's been establishing trade routes and visiting the various merchant guilds and sending letters home, and just trying to make Azkaranth as profitable and powerful as possible.
Okay.
Well, he
And
gets a cut.
While
What?
he gets a cut.
while he gets a cut. The one of the things I remembered was there always seems to be a messenger bird to be able to send those messages back home, back to the Emperor. When one of the messages reaches back to Calamity, and this is, we'll go to like present time-ish, the message says, mentions that the people you made that deal with a few months ago are coming for you to recoup their losses.
The black card's coming back to haunt us.
Oh. And that bird stops by the grove, and the druid chats with the bird for a little bit and kind of muses like he usually does after talking to animals out loud, and you get that message. It must have been the same bird flying through. So you hear that somebody is coming after Calamity soon.
Do we know who made that? Was that the pirates or?
I don't know. That'll be up to the characters to decide when you get together.
Okay.
Yeah, and it is mentioned that that coming for all of you is probably a good way to put it.
For all of us.
Well done, Calamity. Well done.
Good job. So how do Elena and Nessalus have any idea?
We don't know.
Elena and Nessalus receive a few ominous warnings at the shared room door. Somebody leaving an anonymous Post-it note on the door saying, "We're coming for you," and it's written in I think
written in pirate.
red and orange ink.
Whatever.
It's written in pirate. I like that.
It says, "We are coming for you,
Matey.
landlubbers."
What is that joke about a pirate's favorite letter?
The first love is a C.
Yeah.
Yes. You might think it'd be R,
No.
but no.
All right, now what?
So now I leave it to Calamity to drive the next steps here.
So I think we need to do one of those French words. Rendezvous.
Rendezvous?
We need to rendezvous.
That
Wait,
French word. Okay.
Does that involve 3 people?
I've
Two of
That's a
whom-
menage a trois.
that's what I
Rendezvous.
thought. That's the first one that popped in my head.
D'accord.
Now, I do have to clarify something. Over all of the times that we've said over the past couple months, I'm pretty sure that Nessalus is 17 now.
She's
She might
legal.
be.
No, she's older now. We started off, she was like 16, right?
She had just turned 16.
I believe
So she's like 17 and a
technically,
half
though,
now.
in
17 and a
every
half.
role-playing game, age of consent is the moment you start playing.
Exactly.
I really don't think anybody has played a minor effectively ever
Yeah, that's fair.
in the history.
She's 17 and a half. She
So,
can almost buy me.
17 and a half in one day. That's the age of consent in South
'Cause
Carolina.
I specifically remember now that I said it. Our first session where the group got together, Kevin playing the bard was there in the tavern. She was trying to get booze at
Yep.
the counter.
Totally was.
Yes.
She was.
So I validated.
It worked.
Thank you.
She was hitting on Truk, too, if I remember correctly.
Oh, yeah.
She
Big
was.
time hardcore
Yeah.
until he broke her heart with Michaela.
Yeah.
Yeah, douche.
Have I mentioned that Truk is even more ripped than he was before?
She doesn't care.
But he probably has dirt under his fingernails now from all
True.
the gardening.
True, and he smells like weed.
Smells like weed and patchouli.
Weed and patchouli.
So over the next couple of days, you guys would converge perhaps back in Wint?
Yeah,
Would that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would have had set up a charter house.
Okay.
Oh, you got that much money. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
He makes money wherever he goes.
We should drop by and
That's how you
see the waitress, too, from our original inn. She was very helpful and very kind.
Well, that's where we've been.
Yeah, probably.
That area.
And anyways, that's how we find Truk.
So we're meeting at your... Do you have an actual physical house?
Yeah, like an actual charter house. Like we've set up, through the trade connections, we set up a actual guild house, and I have
God.
procured us rooms in the back, away from the actual trading happening.
Excellent.
Great. So, would you have sent a message to the inn for Alyssa?
I don't know why you guys are living in the inn when you have a house you could live in.
Because we don't want to live in
Because
your
we didn't
house.
know about your house.
'Cause they're doing their
had
own
the free
age of
room and
consent
board
thing.
too,
Oh yeah.
right? So because of the help they gave, because the help everyone gave to the captain, the Sea Spirits Tavern put you guys up,
That's
and you
fair.
do have the Wave Bidet room, which the Merchant Guild may not have.
Ooh. Okay, so we put that on the credit coin.
Yes,
When
we
the
did.
credit coin expired.
Well, that wasn't on the coin. That was
That was
As a
an
result
offer
of-
from
Yeah.
them. Not from the people we helped, but from the Sea
it was
Spirits Tavern.
a combination because you in getting the boat there, you got supplies there,
Yeah.
and that was part of it.
Okay.
But
But
we're
yeah.
good. We're good there.
You-
That would
you-
be a good reason to stay. And the place is frequented by adventurers, which may be a little more interesting than frequented by merchants.
That's true. A little bit more partying happening over there.
Very likely. Yeah.
Much more excitement.
All right. Yeah. So a courier would have been sent to try to find you guys. While I sit on my duff and do nothing.
Got it.
So the people that work, at the guild, what is their typical uniform or emblem or something that identifies them as a member of the guild?
It is two snakes twined around a staff eating a bird, like striking at a bird at the top.
Interesting. Huh.
That's weird.
Okay. I'm going to make myself a little rough drawing.
You know, for someone who uses birds as communication, I feel like that's a bad signal to send.
Why?
I don't think the birds care. And if they do, they're smart enough to know that he's joking.
Bird labs
Totally he was totally joking about that guy.
So I would think that at this point, unless Truk was very specifically contacted, even though the bird did come to the grove, he would not leave there because, to metagame for a moment, he doesn't want to be like Luke in Empire Strikes Back and rush off to help his friends and forgo his training. He knows that he needs to learn all that he can from the Wild Walker.
So the druid
so
says,
it seems
"Get
like
the
you'll
fuck
make
out."
it home in time to see the game anyway.
So he heard the message, but he is hesitant, I guess I would say, to head back. And I can't remember how far the grove is from Wint, but it was a fair distance.
It was a fair,
3 days
So the
travel.
druid says, "Go and help your friends. Completed with your training, you are."
Well, in that case,
So the druid says, "Get the fuck out."
as long as the druid gives me a horse, I'm good to go.
Yes. Only a lightly trained druid can face this.
All right,
can't be
So we're all
druid.
in Wint.
If you're full druid, then you might respect things too much.
It's also easy enough for the bird to have, on its way back through, mentioned they're getting together, and that may in itself be enough to.
As long as I don't
incentivize
have Druganok's disapproval for leaving, then
True.
I would head back.
yeah, because you've
very
already gotten
different.
disapproval from one master enough.
That's right.
So one of the things that Truk would learn, and something to keep in mind, Kurt, is that now he is able to find the secret grove without trying, whereas most people can't even see it if it's in front of their face. So you guys wouldn't have found it if it wasn't for Frederica the first time, and now you would be able to find it on your own, and even lead others there because Druganon knows that you would only bring safe people to this place.
Okay.
Trusts you.
Yeah.
Trust you. He
Well,
does.
Truk's going to go for the bidet room unless Calamity comes and tells him otherwise, because that was a pretty awesome view.
It's a pretty awesome view.
By view, I mean bidet.
Okay, and so you guys will get together, and where do you want to take it from there?
Ooh. So we think the South Seas pirates are coming back to... All right, so in interest of full disclosure... All right.
What?
In interest of full disclosure, I hired the South Sea Pirates in order to make more profit off of the merchant that we were traveling with. The South Seas Pirates, the agreement was that they were going to come and attack us, and we would defend, in quotation marks, them. Truk went all badass on them.
In interest of full disclosure, you might have wanted to say that before we attacked.
Well, I didn't. I did not anticipate how effective he was going to be, and they are very saddened at the loss of their wizard, and they're looking for reparations.
What?
Great.
Well, we're going to have to give them
A wizard?
not our wizard.
Hey! Oi!
They cannot have the wizard.
An eye
Not
for an
this
eye.
chick. Although, I don't know.
So wait, at the same
Open
time we were being
seas?
paid by the merchants,
will-
we were being paid
Open
by the South
seas.
Sea Pirates?
Open
No, I
seas
was
Nessalus
paid.
who vomited the entire time.
I paid the pirates
get
to
used to
attack
it.
us so that we would get paid more from the merchant.
They just weren't supposed to lose anyone.
You might have wanted to say something to the rest of us.
I didn't know how you guys would react to the double dealing.
Better than our reaction to the death threats. She pulls up the notes that have been left on the door.
Yeah.
Is this your fault?
I think so, yeah. And I tried to buy them off.
I
They just
think so.
they want blood, not gold.
Oh, fantastic. I'll be in my room.
Are you going to cut yourself and give them some blood?
No. Now what?
Elena keeps hiding the daggers.
I'll cut you.
I mean, this seems like a problem of Calamity's making and a problem that Calamity needs to solve. And while I'm happy to help him,
Why'd you become a southern debutante?
Oh,
it's going to
He's from New Orleans.
He's going to have to be the one who comes up with a plan here.
I mean, that's fair, but it is the problem that you have caused.
No. This isn't his fault.
Wait, so
You didn't tell him.
because I was so awesome?
Yes. Yes, you exceeded the bounds of the perimeters that I designed.
No. You underestimated him and then didn't tell him.
You didn't set boundaries.
I think you guys are although I like to hear it, you are probably arguing a moral gray area that the pirates don't give a crap about.
Yeah. All right, so
They want revenge on the people.
Wow, there's a
who destroyed
voice
their
coming out
wizard.
of nowhere in this world. I guess it
No,
must
there
be
isn't.
God.
Well, let
so
us play.
I think it would behoove us to strike first rather than try to anticipate an attack.
So the best defense is a good offense?
That's kind of what I'm going for, yeah.
Why don't we just pay them off to make up for their wizard?
He's tried.
I've paid them off. They want blood, not gold.
But
We'll
they took
give
the
them
gold
blood.
anyways.
Yeah.
So we take it back.
They
very
want
stupid.
blood? I'd give them blood. Slide them on fire.
Fires.
How many times have you thought to double cross a pirate and not have any
Well,
consequence?
it turns out the wizard was the pirate leader's brother.
Oh, lovely.
And the pirate leader spent lots of gold sending his brother to that.
Wizarding school.
Wizarding school?
Maybe it was Arcus
it-
Arcanum.
Was it Hogwarts?
Yeah, could be.
Arcus the King.
Well,
It was the College of Winterhold.
of all the things that Truk knows, it is that when a fight is inevitable, it is best to strike first and strike with fury.
So how do you find them? Pirates usually don't have signs on their door saying,
You just
"Here
look
we
for
be."
the wenches in the rum.
I have an idea.
So we've done.
Find the parrot.
I
There
have an
there
idea.
would have
Elena
been,
has an idea.
go for
I
it.
have an idea.
You guys said
Nessie.
no girl.
She's not going to say it.
You
but
can
she
said
has
me?
one.
Nessie,
Bait?
can you magically, scry this note? Scry on this note? Can someone tell me how that
Scribe?
word would be used?
Like, right?
No.
Figure out where it came from.
Yeah. Your magic.
Magic,
Track this.
Magic this.
Magic this.
I think the word is scry.
Scry is the word.
And this is an interesting one. Mickie, I would say first, the answer to that as far as a spell goes would be no. However, as the wizard in Dungeon World, you have a starting move called Ritual. And I want to use a reference that you might get here is, I would think you're going to use Ritual kind of with your spell book in the same way that Harry Dresden uses Bob.
Yeah.
All right, so you're going to come up with,
I don't get
I
it.
need to do something, tell me how to do it. So you're going to come up with what you're looking for. So you need to pick what your magical effect is and what you're trying to achieve. And then I give you the qualifiers, the things that you need to do out of that list below Ritual in order for you to actually be able to do it.
Okay.
Now, it's easy to find a place of power, first off. You can go to the wizard's tower, and there's power abundant there.
All right. So here's the deal. So Elena looks at Nessie and is like, "Here, magic this.
Magic. Make it go.
Do what I want.
Make it so.
You're lucky I want to do this.
So mote it be.
So I shall do this." She's going to go back to the inn to get her diary. Then she's going to go to the wizard tower because she felt the power there.
Yeah.
And she's going to sit cross-legged outside, kind of like in the shade, and start writing in her
You're
diary.
going to steal their Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I'm going to steal their Wi-Fi. Pretty much.
Yeah,
Because they didn't, they weren't particularly nice to her the last
Yeah.
time she was in there. So she's going to
Should
stand
have put a password on it.
outside, steal their Wi-Fi, and
wizard fidelity.
start writing in her
Wi-Fi.
diary. Dear diary,
Yeah.
we have a bit of a situation here. Calamte, you remember him, the loser, got us into trouble. And now we need to figure out a way to get out of it. Elena seems to think that these papers that the pirate messengers have left on our door will help us find them. Can you show me a way, dear diary, to find the pirates?
So the diary writes back to you that what you need to do is melt some gold and pour it over the papers, and then have the the paladin, your friend, hold the papers in front of him and they will guide him to where the author is.
How much gold, diary?
Enough. Probably more than he is willing to give up.
Enough? So, like...
Essentially whatever Calamity would think is too much.
Okay. So...
Which might be one coin.
I know, right?
Whatever it may be, it is the price to pay is what you would think is too much.
Just enough to hurt.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
So the pound of flesh concept.
Well-
I like it.
Melted gold hurts no matter where it hits you.
Especially when it hits you on the head.
you might be able to recover it. Who knows?
All right, so she would go back to the group.
Although I would like to point out that if we're going to go get these pirates, you probably paid them a fair amount of gold that we can get back.
Just saying. All right, so she would go back to the group and say, the diary has spoken. We need to melt gold over the scrolls, and the scrolls will then lead us to the pirates. Don't mock my
I thought
pronunciation.
you said squirrels, and I was like, you want me to do what?
The golden squirrel.
So how much gold?
How much gold do you think would get us there?
I mean, carriage fare anywhere in the city is about a gold and a half.
So
2
3
gold.
gold.
3 gold? I guess I can part with that.
No, it's not enough. Keep going.
What do you mean keep going?
So the diary also said you have to give 1 gold to me for my troubles. Just kidding.
Are you going to go with that? Are you going to go with it?
Do it.
Why not?
The diary
God,
also
do it.
said that you of the total, you have to give 1 to me for my troubles.
All right. I suppose that can be arranged.
So that's 4 gold. 3 for
right.
the scrolls,
This
1
is
for
too
me.
easy.
Ask him what the daily revenue of his trading charter house is.
So just like Kurt said earlier, a little metagame thing. We don't really care about money when we're playing. The point here for me is to get it where Calamity further distrusts the book. Because he already distrusted the book. The book now wants his money. It's never asked for his money before. And that was the point for
It's only asked for his blood and service before.
Yeah, but now the important part, the money, is being requested at an unreasonable amount, whatever the amount is.
Yeah, so it's probably more like 4,000 gold.
Could be.
Seriously?
Yeah.
It's more than 2 carriage rides.
It's more than 2 carriage rides.
How much did you pay the pirates, like roughly?
Oh.
And how much did we make from the merchant net? I mean, it should be somewhere in that.
I
that order of
I
magnitude.
paid the pirates 1,000. The merchant paid us back 4,000.
So somewhere in there.
So like
is-
5,000.
No, not that much.
Yeah.
You think that much? That's a lot of gold.
When we considered the credit coin numbers, we got into the thousands.
Yeah.
Now, why would we not so much run like in terror, but just keep doing our thing and deal with them when they come for us?
Didn't you
Because
just
there was
say,
a
"I'll
monk
be
that
prepared"?
said...
I know, but it's a lot of money. I mean, the monk doesn't even care about money, but he's like, hey. Yeah.
I think the point, one point would be that I think Brit said that they're pirates. They probably have money.
We can
When
take
you
it
go
back.
beat them up, you take it
Especially
back.
the money that he paid to them.
Yeah. 2 wrongs make a right when it comes to money.
Okay, so there's a couple of things I want to do.
Okay.
I'm going to establish with the constabulary of
Excuse
the
me?
city of Wint. Constabulary?
I don't understand what you're saying. Please explain.
The police
The
force
police force.
of
cops.
Wint.
Constables.
The
Thank you.
constables.
City guard in this case, right?
Got it.
Yeah.
Speak English.
I am. It's the Queen's English.
The Southern Queen.
Southern Queen.
The Queen of the South. Go ahead.
Paula Dean?
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Bless his heart.
Bless their hearts.
Bless his
So I'm
heart.
going to establish with the
Yeah.
constabulary that we need to be deputized in order to defend ourselves against the pirates that are coming for us.
Oh my god.
Interesting.
And the purpose of being deputized is to avoid being arrested when you kill the pirates?
Yes.
And
I just want to make sure what you're asking
well,
for.
That- you want a
we're
license to
defending an
kill.
important port town.
We are defending an important port
an
town.
aggressor.
And we know that the pirates are going to send their best against us.
Okay.
So we can severely hamper or possibly dismantle this pirate band.
These pirates have come for the goods for this town before. Technically.
Yeah. So I want to set up the constabulary that we want to be deputized so that lethal force
Lethal
Force.
force.
Maybe
is authorized.
you have your license.
You want a
to kill.
00 license? Got it.
So what I want to get from that is let's do a parlay roll.
Okay.
So this is a basic move in Dungeon World, and I put some basic move sheets out there on the table earlier. I think that Brit has a stack there, so hand those out if you would, please. Parlay is on the right-hand side towards the bottom. You're going to roll. I believe it's plus charisma.
Yep.
And what we're doing here is, in using the move Parlay, you have leverage on the NPCs. On the move, it says GM character. But you have leverage on the NPCs, knowing that something bad is going to happen, and you want to use that leverage to get something from them. And let's see how this works out.
I want to use my starting move. I am the law.
Oh, you want to...
You want to the judge
Against
So-
the fucking cops?
That's an interesting one, because they could choose to, well, dislike you because you've done it.
Exactly. So I'm trying, but and that now it makes sense because I am a rich merchant and I am trying to basically buy the militia in a way.
Okay.
So I can see that.
Okay. So you're going to give them an order
Essentially.
based on, in this case, your divine authority. This would be your monetary authority.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So let's try that. Still charisma,
Yep. Still charisma.
and let's see what you got.
That is 6, 3. That's 9 plus 2 is 11.
11.
Fantastic.
Okay. So you will get deputized, and as you work with any of the other city guard during this, you will be able to get a +1 on your next roll anytime you work with the city
All
guard
right.
here.
Nice. Make a note.
And as we get preparing for
Own
that
City
that
guard.
imminent battle, we are going to stop this episode for now and wrap up this first episode back with Dungeon World on Adventures from the Shed. So for now, we will say...
Bye, everyone.
I am the law.
Upon hearing of the South Seas Pirates' revenge plan, Calamte hatches his own plan of defense. We wrap up the episode with the heroes being deputized by the Wint Guards to serve in defense of the city when the pirates arrive. Thanks for joining us. The preceding podcast was brought to you by One Joe Young. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com.